Good morning, everyone. It's Sister Mortensen. I just wanted to share a quick Tuesday tip with you. This week, we are talking all about using quotes in our essay. So I want you to remember four things, okay? When we're using quotes in our essay, the first thing I want you to remember is that you need to provide context or some background information about your quote. You can't just throw your quote in there. You need to say, set the stage, tell me where the quote was said, or why it was said, things like that. So if you were going to use a quote by President Nelson, you could say, in October 2019 General Conference, President Nelson stated, something like that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing I want you to do is make sure you tell me who's speaking. So if you said President Nelson gave this talk in General Conference, that's good. You've told me it was President Nelson. And then remember that we don't always have to say he said or she said. There's a lot of different ways to talk about the author of the quote. And we can use the words stated, announced, proposed, let's see what else, suggested, commented. Okay, so if you have more than a few quotes in your essay, rather than always saying President Nelson said, or he said, or she said, try using a different word. Try using President Nelson stated, President Nelson announced, President Nelson admonished, or things like that, okay? That just makes your writing a little bit more interesting, especially when you're using quotes. Okay, and the third thing I want you to remember is that you have to explain to me why this quote is important. If we're still talking about President Nelson, it's important that you tell me why you're stating that quote in your essay. So if we were talking about an announcement that President Nelson gave in General Conference, we could say after our quote, this announcement led the way for families to whatever, or this announcement helped more members in their ministering callings. So you can't just give the quote and then move on. You have to make sure after you give the quote that you tell me why it's significant for your essay, okay? And the fourth and the last thing, which is also very important, is to cite your source. So if President Nelson is your quote, then in parentheses after your quote, you are going to tell me when and where he said it. Okay, so you're going to tell me President Nelson, title of the talk, October General Conference 2019, for example. Okay, so 4 things to remember. And if you have any questions about any of that, I know it's a lot of information, just please let me know, because I want to help you to get this right. Using quotes is important. It's a great way to enhance our essay, and citing that quote is also very important. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope you're having a great day.